This episode brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever find yourself playing the budgeting game? Shifting a little money here, a little there, and hoping it all works out? Well, with the Name Your Price tool from Progressive, you can get a better budgeter and potentially lower your insurance bill too. You tell Progressive what you want to pay for car insurance, and they'll help find you options within your budget. Try it today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law. Not available in all states.
Looking for these better days.
It is Monday, April 6th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. The national championship will be decided tonight, the finale of the NCAA tournament. Steph Curry returned to action last night, but the Rockets spoiled that. And an interesting day in our System Sunday trends. Mackenzie Rivers joins me on this episode of Better Day, presented by FanDuel. And Mackenzie, we start with recapping the weekend that was. Final Four on Saturday provided some excitement. UConn gets the win in the first game against Illinois as 2 to 2.5 point dogs. We had that correctly. What we didn't have correctly was Michigan absolutely embarrassing Arizona. So now we head to the national championship game tonight. We're up on FanDuel, and this is interesting because FanDuel posted the hypothetical lines during the week leading up to the Final Four, and Michigan was hypothetically a 6.5 point favorite over UConn. Well, UConn looked as good as they could look against Illinois in the national semifinal, but because Michigan looked even better in their embarrassment of Arizona, up on FanDuel, Michigan, a 7.5 point favorite tonight over UConn in the national championship game.
How could anyone be on Michigan in this game? I don't understand. How could you lay the points? 15-1 ATS with Connecticut. I'm not saying he's going to win the game, but it seems like it's a classic setup. It's a lot of points.
See, that was my first inclination, and we know the trends. 18-1 now, straight up and against the spread since the first tournament when they won the national championship 4 years ago, right? UConn now playing in their third championship game in the last 4 tournaments. That's unheard of, right? They could be going for a four-peat right now. If they would have beaten Florida last year, who knows how far they would have gone in that tournament. My first inclination was, because I was on VSiN during the Michigan-Arizona game, and when that game went to half, Michigan had like a 16-point lead, right? Yaxel Lendeborg only played 5 minutes in the first half because he was injured. And I said to the audience, oh, the hypothetical line on FanDuel was Michigan minus 6.5. I hope they post the 6.5 because I'm absolutely going to take the points with UConn. But Mackenzie, watching Michigan just blow out Arizona, watching them play without their leading scorer and still it didn't matter, absolutely embarrassing what we thought was the second, borderline third best team in the country. Like, we talked for months how there was a clear separation. Duke, Arizona, Michigan, and then everybody else. And Michigan just completely wiped the floor with them to the point where the line actually from the hypothetical moved in favor of Michigan. And it hasn't moved. It's not like we've seen everybody jump in on UConn right now. The line is still 7.5.
And he's still, from what I hear, questionable, right? The Michigan guy?
He's going to play. He's going to play like he said he's going to play. Dusty May said he's going to play. Is it going to be? Is he going to be restricted because of the injury? I think it's just a pain tolerance issue. It's the national championship game. The kid's going to go, right. How effective is he going to be? I don't know. He was okay. He hit a couple of threes in the semifinal game. He scored 11 points, but he only played 5 minutes in the first half, and they didn't need him. I mean, clearly the size was the biggest issue for Arizona, right? Michigan's 7-footer Mara inside, who's the favorite, by the way, for the tournament most outstanding player right now at plus 175. Arizona just couldn't get inside. They relied on the mid-range jumper, which Mackenzie, more than anybody, is the most inefficient shot in basketball.
Whoa. Going after my Boris Diaw type package, you're really, better than anybody. I mean, that was your shot. And it never worked. There's a reason why it is the most given shot, is what the defense wants you to do. So a lot of times you're going to have to make it to separate yourself from the best teams. But, most good teams are finding ways not to have a steady diet of mid-range jump shots. Contested especially.
And I don't think that UConn's going to fall into that trap tonight. I think UConn's going to take a boatload more threes than Arizona did. Sure, they're going to try to get inside with Terrace Reed. I don't know if they'll be successful in getting inside on Michigan, but I do think they're going to take more threes. And I was looking at some player props. I think there's some player props that we can be looking at here with UConn tonight with the three-pointers. Like, I'm interested in betting up on FanDuel. They have the 1+ made threes, 2+ made threes, 3+ made threes market. I'm interested in Braylon Mullins from UConn, plus 134 to make 3 3-pointers, and Alex Caravan from UConn, plus 128 up on FanDuel to make 3 3-pointers. One of them is going to hit 3 threes in this game.
I don't know. You worried about just maybe it's an under game? It's in a big stadium right there in Indianapolis?
That's the question, the big question, right? We always say unders, right, with the NCAA tournament, with the Final Four, with a championship game. We know that UConn's going to try and, lock down defense because that's what they're known for. But Michigan has scored 90 points in every single game of this tournament, Mackenzie, including the semifinal in which they destroyed Arizona. Like, is UConn going to keep Michigan under 70 points? I don't know. No one's been able to do it. I mean, Howard played the best against Michigan, and they lost 101-80.
I'm looking up. Did the women's final go over? They played too.
It went over just on the closing number, not on the open number.
All right, so the data point of 1 added to the table. It just seems like that's what everybody gets. They gin up excitement for a big final, and then they post these overs and these 1.5 pluses. I would generally look the other way.
Yeah, 144.5 is the total right now in that semifinal game for UConn against Illinois. Alex Caravan was 1 of 7 from 3-point range. I like the volume. Shoot 7 threes. I like that. Braylon Mullins, 4 of 7 from 3-point range. Solo Ball was 3 of 7 from 3-point range. So looking at his threes, so I mentioned Braylon Mullins plus 134 to make over 2.5 threes. Alex Caravan plus 128 over 2.5 threes. And let's see what Solo Ball's number is. I don't even see him on there. They probably don't list him. They probably list him on the 4 3-pointers. Nope. I don't even see him listed up on FanDuel. How about that? So I'd be looking at those 2 players for UConn tonight. I think they're going to have to shoot more threes if they want to score here on Michigan. I don't know if I want to bet against Michigan. I mean, my gut says take the 7.5 points, Mackenzie. I don't know if I want to bet against Michigan. They seem to be a machine right now.
I don't know. In 50 years, we're going to be like, well, no Big Ten team won from 2000 to 2050, and UConn won what, like 7 out of 12 championships over this time frame, and everyone was on Michigan this game, and they were a touchdown favorite. It's going to look ridiculous if UConn wins. But I get the power ratings over power ratings.
Yeah, it's hard. I'm curious the movement as we get closer and closer to tip off tonight. Will the money come in on the over or the under? Will the money come in on Michigan or UConn? I'm going to watch the market all throughout the day here and keep an eye on it. But I think right now I am going to play those 2+ money props up on FanDuel right now. Braylon Mullins to make 3 3-pointers at plus 134. Alex Caravan to make 3 3-pointers at plus 128. Let's hope UConn shoots heavy volume here from 3-point range. You asked the question earlier, Mackenzie. The women's final yesterday goes over as UCLA blows out South Carolina 79-51. It only goes over, though, on the closing numbers. It pretty much landed on the number of where it was earlier in the week. And I talked to Fez about this yesterday. This was the type of game where it was a lesson in sports betting. Yep. It's a lesson in how to be a successful sports bettor. You could have had under 133, under 132, under 131, under 130. And if you were an overbetter, you could have had over 127, over 128, over 129. It lands 130. And it's just a matter of when you bet and where you bet. And it's one of those games where, Fez would always say, no one should have lost this game. Depending on which side you were on, you had ample opportunities to bet the numbers on both sides. And it lands pretty much on the number at exactly 130. I mean, it's amazing.
I think that's right. I think it's a testament to execution and Fez and his lot and the like, as he would say, all made money in this game. And I think it's also, as far as people that are live bettors like me, a testament to the other side of it, which is a handicapping resolution, which is when it was a 20-point game, it was no longer an under-type game that you might have handicapped prior. I mean, that's the typical final. It doesn't really matter that much. The pressure's not really on, and we see the third and the fourth quarter, the highest scoring quarters. So you made a lot of money if you bet the over after there was 31 points in the first quarter and the like. Just a typical April final. Just, file it away for next year.
That's one that we gave out to Better Day Premium members with the live plays. We played the second half over 67, and that cashed 71 points scored in the second half. So very optimal betting situations presented themselves, and it was an extremely profitable women's tournament for us because we had that run of, 8 straight unders at one point that we were just hammering them, and they were just no sweat unders. So great. Sorry to see that tournament go. Also yesterday, college basketball crown championship and the NIT championship both go to overtime. Both games go over in overtime, of course. West Virginia, as 3.5-point dogs, wins outright against Oklahoma, 89-82. And then in the more bizarre game you'll ever see, Auburn got past Tulsa, 92-86 in overtime. Auburn led at the half, Mackenzie, 48-31. The live line was Auburn minus 18.5. Tulsa outscored them 47-27 in the second half. And after Auburn makes one of 2 free throws when they are down 4, they play good defense, and Tulsa gets called for a 5-second violation on the inbounds.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And they had a timeout in their pocket, and they get called for a 5-second violation. And then Auburn runs a great designed inbound play where I think it was I forgot which player hit it, maybe Overton, nails the game-tying three-pointer with 7 seconds remaining. Tulsa misses the buzzer beater, and they always say overtime is where underdogs go to die, and Auburn winds up actually covering the original minus 5.5, winning 92-86. What a roller coaster ride if you had Tulsa plus the 5.5, or if you had Auburn minus the 5.5. What a roller coaster.
Do you think it makes people bet more basketball or less basketball losing a plus 5.5 in an overtime game? Because it was not that long ago the first NBA 9.5-point dog failed to cover in overtime, and there's been a couple since. It is more roulette-esque if you can go to overtime and lose as a dog. It feels like no one can beat it.
I feel like you don't.
Or maybe it's more fun. Maybe it's like you're always in it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's a bad beat, but don't you feel like from a handicapping perspective, your read was right? Like you had the right side.
Oh, come on. Margin of +0 in regulation.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. So I feel like from a handicapping perspective, you'd actually feel good about your play and then more inclined to bet it the next time and just chalk this one up to variance.
What a roller coaster.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
I'll tell you where there's no variance, Mackenzie, and that's in the NBA. What a joke this league is. And I mean, I say it every single night, but yesterday, the Tankapalooza parlay comes through once again. All the big double-digit favorites win. Celtics as double-digit favorites beat the Raptors, even though the Raptors are a competitive, postseason team. Celtics win and cover that big line. Suns win against the Bulls. And then you had the Cavs, who don't cover, but they win against the Pacers 117-108. You had and then the Thunder, the highest spread in NBA history, Mackenzie.
Yep.
That's right. The
I
database
lost some
goes
money
back
against it. I bet the plus 131.5 in game.
Database goes back 30 years or so. Never had a line of 25.5. Thunder were 25.5 point favorites. I mean, what is this?
I remember in the first quarter, I remember reading a headline as, a commercial, you get some time to read him during the game. And it was like Jalen Williams excited for this game to, get back into form. And I'm like, that is probably the story of this game. The Thunder have another game, and their second best player can flex his muscles a little bit because Shea's probably only going to play 25 minutes. It's embarrassing. There's zero stories with the Jazz that they care about. They know that. But we should say, on paper, the Lakers over the Mavericks would be in this parlay. But that goes to show you they're 135 to 1 to win the title for a reason. Luka is everything to that team. It's crazy to see that.
No Luka and no Austin Reeves. I mean, the Lakers,
right, at least for the regular season.
Favorites? Were they even favorites? Or the line was like
they were minus 1.5 at Dallas.
Yeah.
Cooper Flag coming off a 50-piece throws a 45-piece up there.
Oh, let's talk about this, Mac. Cooper Flag, you mentioned 51, and then he puts up 45. What do you think the Rookie of the Year odds are right now up on FanDuel?
Have not seen him. That is a loud finish. Marquee game. LeBron brought it ish on offense anyway. I'm going to say he's a favorite now. I'm going to say he's a minus 140 favorite.
Cooper Flag minus 210. Con Kneppel plus 150.
Man, when's the last time we looked at it? It was KK minus 170, AK-47.
It was not only that, it was, let's see. I think we have I have some numbers here. It was Kneppel was like minus it was like off the board. That's how like overwhelming this was for Con Kneppel to be the Rookie of the Year. I think there we go. It was minus 2,500. 48 hours ago, this was a tweet last night from Julian Edlow of DraftKings. 48 hours ago, Con Kneppel was minus 1,800 at DraftKings. 2 days later, he is now plus 145. Paulie Howard of VSiN tweeting out, at Caesars, Con Kneppel was minus 2,500 2 days ago. And now we're looking at the FanDuel price, Con Kneppel plus 150, Cooper Flag minus 210. This just goes to show you, the market is reactionary and not predictive. I don't think that 2 games sways voters. I think voters have to acknowledge that Cooper Flag missed so many games this year, and Con Kneppel set records for a team that's going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I was just looking. The Hornets are like 7th in net rating on the season, including all games. It's insane. And he's probably their best player. I'm not surprised that Flag is the favorite. I don't know. There's games left. Either of them could 4 or 5 games. I would definitely say the value's on Kneppel right now because there's no confirmation that the minus 2,500 wasn't right, that the voters have changed their mind. It's all speculation based on 2 games.
That's what I'm saying. I think that, that's what I'm saying. This to me is, it's still value now betting Con Kneppel plus 150. I don't think that a couple of games here at the end of the season is enough to sway voters. This guy minus 2,000 a week ago. 2 games.
And obviously that was bad odds. Obviously people didn't know what they were talking about there either.
But you have to acknowledge what he's doing for his team, what he's doing in meaningful games, not against a shorthanded Lakers team without Luka and without Austin Reeves, right? Not against an Orlando team that is just playing not good basketball right now and threatening to fall out of their seeding.
We have never and we should never over-index on April basketball. It's the playoffs are a couple weeks from now. That's what we should be talking about.
Well, I just think the season's too long, and these 2 weeks of meaningless basketball right now. I don't need this.
A symptom of the season being too long is that the first 2 weeks are like major asterisks, like LeBron wasn't playing because still it's a Bill Belichick style preseason, and the last 2 weeks, it's like the Lakers lost, but are they really trying to be the 3rd seed instead of the 4th seed or the 5th seed? Unclear. A lot of teams seem to be unclear motivations in April. So it's a silly season.
You're right. It is a silly season. Last night also, Steph Curry made his return. First game back in over 2 months as the Rockets.
I say that it was like the game of the year. What a return for Steph Curry.
Rockets beat the Warriors 117 to 116. Curry finishes well over his points prop, which was 19.5. He has 29 points in 26 minutes, 11 of 21 from the field, 5 of 10 from three-point range. You watched this whole game last night, Mackenzie. What did you make of Steph's return? And are the Warriors a team to look out for out of the play-in round?
Steph Curry's still the best American basketball player. Like, it's the international, the foursome, and then maybe if Wemby's not the fifth guy in that, still international. And then there's Steph Curry. The problem is he's missed a couple months, a month longer than was told to us, and he came off the bench in this game for a reason. And I think if he played 5 more minutes in this game, the Warriors probably win a big home game. And Kevin Durant as well. A lot of grief about their clutch performances. Does he really need a point guard? I mean, they're 21 now and 22 in clutch games. They said that on the broadcast. They were 20 and 22, and they got this win. It's not that terrible for a brand new team. Like everybody says, without a point guard, it seems like they are figuring it out. I still like them over the Lakers in a series. And over the Timberwolves as well, if the Rockets get there.
Okay, well, let's talk about the Warriors now. They'll play the Blazers in the first play-in round or the Clippers. So it's going to be the Blazers or the Clippers in that 9-10 game. Can they win either of those games? With Steph Curry playing, of course.
Yeah, Steph Curry's back. He's the +6 that the advanced metrics say he is, and like he looked like last night. They beat the Blazers. They don't beat the Clippers, is my opinion.
Okay. Do they beat
one-on-one algebra? Kawhi Leonard would cross him out. The rest of the Clippers I like better than the rest of the Warriors. The Blazers don't have that guy.
What if it works out that it's Warriors-Blazers first play-in round and then Warriors-Suns second play-in round? Do the Warriors make the playoffs as the 8 seed?
Yeah. I don't know. Devin Booker is a prototype that guy. That's a big game for him, much like Zion Williams at home had that chance to change his legacy and limped off a couple of years ago. That's a big playing game. I think that's a pick 'em line.
So now
I'll say Suns. I'll say Suns beat the Warriors. Warriors are out.
Oh.
Warriors don't like being in the playoffs when they're not that good. Historically, they've lost in the playoffs before because they love to say, "Oh, we've won a road game in every playoff series. We're 23-2 in the West or whatever." They just miss the playoffs every now and then. That's their secret.
All right. Well, odds up on FanDuel to make the playoffs. The Warriors, yes, +280. The no, -420. And keep in mind that +280 is essentially a 2-leg parlay, because they have to win the 9-10 game, and then they would have to win against the loser of the 7-8 game, because the Warriors are destined to be the 10 right now. They're
Blazers,
4 games
Suns.
back.
That's their path. That's their path.
That's their path. Blazers, Suns, and that's the way that they cash, and you cash that +280, or you just roll over on both of those games. All right, Mac, let's take a look at the schedule in the association for tonight. Hopefully we get more competitive games and not record-setting blowouts. This is one I'm very intrigued by, okay? The Detroit Pistons, we've talked about them before. What is it now? 10-1 ATS since Cade Cunningham went out, right? Like they continue to win, they continue to cover. Cade missed the second game against the Wizards, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 9-1, excuse me. 9-1 ATS without Cade Cunningham.
2 overtime losses, wow. Covering both of them.
However, the Pistons have clinched the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. They have absolutely nothing to play for over the next couple of games to finish out the season. The Orlando Magic, meanwhile, are a half game back of the Hornets for the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference. And we know how important the 8th seed is in the play-in tournament, because you get a second game by being the 8th seed. By being the 8 versus the 9, you get to play in that 7-8 game, and then if you lose, you get to play the winner of the 9-10 game. So the Magic desperately need to win to get out of that 9 seed and hopefully get into the 8 seed. Orlando, yes, it's the second of a back-to-back. They're 3-point home dogs here against the Pistons. As much as we've talked about the Pistons and how good they've been without Cade, does the fact that they have already clinched the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference come into play here with them having nothing to play for?
Streaks are meant to end. This is almost a Martingale situation. The Pistons are not going to end the season 14-1 ATS. And the Magic have been good at home. 18-22 this year, but under Mosley, 55% ATS. So I generally like them at home more than on the road. Yeah, I could see myself getting on the Magic here.
I think I like the Orlando Magic here plus the points tonight. Again, because the Pistons had clinched that number 1 seed already. Maybe they just go to Disney tonight and don't worry about this game so much. All right, the Knicks are in Atlanta to take on the Hawks. Atlanta, a 1.5-point favorite over New York. Atlanta right now holding the 5 seed, 2 games up on the Sixers for the 5-6.
Do both these teams want to win it? All right, let's play a little game theory here. The Knicks could theoretically lose themselves down to the 4 and play the Hawks. That would be fine with them. That's probably better than playing the Sixers with a potentially healthy Embiid. I think game theory here says the Knicks don't really care as much as the Hawks. Hawks are rolling. Give me the Hawks here.
Okay. Cavaliers, 14-point favorites at the Grizzlies. The Spurs, 8.5-point favorites at home against the 76ers. Nuggets, 8.5-point home favorites against the Blazers. The Raptors, 2.5-point home favorites against the Heat. You have, that's Tuesday. 3, 2, and 1. And the Nuggets, 8.5-point favorites at home against the Portland Trail Blazers. So only one disgusting spread tonight, Mackenzie, the Cavs and the Grizzlies. A couple of 8.5s, but nothing as ugly as what we have seen over this past weekend.
Competitive basketball. I like it.
Let's get to it. Let's update you on some system plays in Major League Baseball. The sweep avoidance system for Sunday didn't exactly come home. Several teams that were looking to avoid the sweep actually got swept. A couple of teams did avoid the sweep. The Marlins come from behind to beat the Yankees, so they avoided the sweep there. We had the Cardinals on Sunday Night Baseball. They avoided the sweep against the Tigers. And shout out Colorado Rockies avoiding the sweep against the Philadelphia Phillies. But the Blue Jays can't as favorites against the White Sox. Rangers couldn't as favorites against the Reds. So no good there. And how about the Nationals? Oh, my goodness. A 6-1 lead against the Dodgers, Mackenzie. They lose 8-6. I mean, that's just embarrassing stuff here. Embarrassing stuff. Taking a look at the schedule today in Major League Baseball, we have the home opener for the Tampa Bay Rays and the return to Tropicana Field. Welcome back, Tampa Bay Rays. 4 o'clock Eastern time, first pitch. The Rays and the Cubbies. Shane McClanahan on the mound for the Rays. Jameson Taillon for the Cubs. I like the first 5 to go under. There's something about day games in Tampa. This is going to be the first game back in Tropicana Field. The sun will be shining through that stupid new roof. Beautiful new turf, though. Let's go with the first 5 under, Rays and Cubs. It'll be exciting, man, seeing your Cubs. And the Cubs also coming off a doubleheader yesterday, so I think that affects them. You play a doubleheader and then you have to play a day game the next day? That can't be good.
I agree with that. That can't be good. They also are the Cubs, National League team. I guess they're all new players, but when's the last time the Cubs played in Tropicana Field? Might have been a while.
That's a good point. I have no idea. Elsewhere on the schedule for tonight, some notable pitching matchups. If you're looking for something there, Max Scherzer takes the mound for the Blue Jays against the Dodgers. Justin Robleski goes for the Dodgers. The Blue Jays looking to snap out of this funk as they have lost. They got swept in all 3 games by the Chicago White Sox, and they lost that final game of that series to the Rockies. So 4 straight losses here for the Blue Jays, and they're looking to bounce back, but you welcome in a team in the Dodgers, not likely to do so there. We have a couple of Sunday night fade candidates. The Tigers, coming off the Sunday night game against the Cardinals, will travel to Minnesota to take on the Twins. Joe Ryan on the mound for the Twins. Casey Mize goes for the Tigers. It's going to be very cold in Minnesota. Minnesota's minus 122. I might be leaning towards an under here in this one because I think it's just going to be frigid temperatures in Minnesota, about 36 degrees it says, and then the Tigers Sunday night fade. Last week, Sunday night fade, it was a 1-0 game after 5 innings. game was a 4-2 final. So we were on the wrong side of the Sunday night fade, but maybe the under, Mackenzie, was the right way to play that fade.
What about Twins and the under?
Tiger
team total under or Twins parlayed with the under?
Yeah, I mean, I could see it. Let's just play the game under. Cardinals, they're also traveling, but they're going to D.C. to take on the Nationals. I mean, come on. Adrian Palante on the mound with the Cardinals. Zach Littell goes for the Nats. Jacob DeGrom back involved. Jacob DeGrom back on the mound for the Rangers. They take on the Mariners and Logan Gilbert. This one feels like one of those games where it's the Nerfie's going to be like minus 250. Yeah, like it's not going to be that crazy. But Jacob DeGrom, Logan Gilbert, like, come on. Like, everyone and their mother is betting the Nerfie in that game.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, before they get hurt.
Yeah, no, it just feels like we have maybe we counter it. Maybe we just go with the yes and take the plus money.
DeGrom does have a 5.8 ERA this season. Maybe he lost it like Scherzer.
And Gilbert has a 6.75 ERA this season. So it's only it's the second start for these guys now. Let's give them a break. They got roughed up in their first start. Let's see how they do here in the second start of the season. I always think that's important to note. And then yesterday in the NHL, Mackenzie, our dogs plus 1.5 system came through. 5 games qualified for the underdogs, both teams on 0 rest, plus 1.5 on the puck line, goes 4-1. The only loser was the Panthers, which I recommended that people don't bet because the Panthers are trash right now. So 4-1 it goes yesterday on the season. If you blindly bet every underdog plus 1.5 in these no rest situations, you are 47-12 this year.
So much volume.
47-12. And you are up over 25 units. It's the best system in hockey. It's the best betting system in hockey. It doesn't get better than this. And you'll have 2 games next Sunday that will qualify here for this system. All right, tonight in the NHL, the Lightning take on the Sabres. Tampa Bay minus 115. Kraken are at the Jets. Winnipeg minus 166. Blackhawks at the Sharks. San Jose minus 170. Predators visit the Kings. LA minus 135. Yesterday, the Islanders firing their head coach, Patrick Waugh, with 4 games left in the regular season. I guess they saw the Golden Knights fire Bruce Cassidy and then go on to win 3 straight games. So they're thinking, hey, we've lost 7 out of 10. We're out of a playoff position right now. Let's fire our coach with 4 games left in the regular season. Pete DeBoer, former Stars head coach, comes in to be the new head coach of the New York Islanders.
Is that the Patrick Waugh? Same guy?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
First of all, why isn't he the coach of the Colorado Avalanche?
or the Canadiens?
And why would he ever be fired from anywhere? He's Patrick Waugh.
But the Islanders now currently on the outside
it's
looking
cover of NHL 2004.
Was he?
Probably.
That would be incredible recall out of you if it was. NHL 2004 cover athlete.
Come on, a goalie on the cover.
Dude, listen. Okay, you were very close because it was a member of the Colorado Avalanche. Joe Sakic was on the cover. Now
he only did that because was brilliance.
No,
Mariano Rivera.
No, they only did that because Danny Heatley was on the cover. Danny Heatley of the Atlanta Thrashers, but remember he was involved in that car accident that killed his teammate. He was
all right.
Yes.
So the replacement in 2004, I must have somehow had that in the banks of my memory.
And so so they replaced Danny Heatley on the cover of NHL 2004 with Joe Sakic. So there you have it. Who was? Let's see. When was Patrick Waugh ever on the cover?
I'm guessing no goalie would ever be on the cover because it's like not like a goalie game. You're supposed to. You're a skater.
Oh, there's been goalies on the cover. Come on, there's absolutely been goalies on the cover.
Should be.
Let's see.
There's justice.
I'm gonna say Richter was on the cover. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Kirk McLean, Rangers goalie. Kirk McLean was on the cover of NHL 95. How about that? Let's see. Goaltenders. Ooh, John Van Beesbrook, NHL 97. Look at that. Goalie on the cover.
How could I forget?
Let's see. Other goalies. I'm looking for goalies now. This is fun. Goalies on the cover. Wow, I think that's the end of the goalie run. Was that it? Was the last time we had a goalie on the Oh, nope. Martin Brodeur, NHL 14. Brodor's final season with the Devils. He was on the cover.
Little Dwayne Wade-esque victory lap.
And that was the last time we had a goaltender on the cover of the game. So there you go, Mackenzie. Good stuff out of you. Good
Get
cut.
Patrick Waugh a consulting job with the Avalanche. That's what we all want to see.
Or
like
the
Steve
Canadiens.
Nash on the Warriors.
Or the Canadiens. Okay.
Oh yeah, them too.
Yeah. I mean, he's most notable. Like, where would you think he's most notable? Like Canadiens or
for me,
Avalanche?
For me, he is the Avalanche. I can't think of the Avalanche without him, or hockey without the Avalanche in him. He played for the Canadiens?
Yes. For
Blowing my mind,
many years. like 10 years maybe? I don't know. 11 years? I don't know how many years he played for the Canadiens. Like he's a Canadian legend to me. Like I don't know. I mean this is clearly the age gap going on right now between us right now.
Exactly.
Like,
it's another generation.
Like
Canadians.
Like, yeah. Yes.
It's like Pedro Martinez on the Montreal Expos. The team doesn't even exist anymore.
That's
didn't happen.
Very true. Well, do you remember, Mackenzie, that the last time a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup was in 1993, and that was the Montreal Canadiens, led by
they moved since
their goaltender, Patrick Waugh.
Oh, okay. All right, so he's like, wow, he's like Sergio Ramos, getting trophies in each country. That's amazing.
Yes, good job. In each country, you're right. Yeah, good job. All right, that'll wrap up this episode of Better Day. Want to make sure you guys head to our website because the MLB Game Center this week, now that we have more games under our belt, we're going to start to have the game predictions, the totals and whatnot with all the 2026 data here. The NBA Game Center continues to deliver. You know, yesterday, Mackenzie, I have so much betting FOMO because for that Warriors game, I looked up on our NBA Game Center and the prop projections for Santos. It was the best bet, over 11.5 points. And it was like a significant best bet. And I'm like, man, I should bet this. I should bet this. I did not bet this. He finished with 15 points last night for the Warriors, so he went over his prop of 11.5. So our NBA Game Center continues to cook exclusively for Better Day Insider and Premium members. Be sure to follow us on social media as well. For Mackenzie Rivers, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.